Beruchim habayim, everybody. Rabbis tell us that Yehoshua was buried on a mountain called Har Ga'ash. And our rabbis said there's no such mountain called Har Ga'ash. What does it mean that he was buried on a mountain called Har Ga'ash? Har Ga'ash means volcanic eruption. After Yehoshua bin Nun, our leader, the prized Talmid of Moshe Rabbeinu, passed away, there was a volcanic eruption because Bnei Yisrael did not mispeed him, they did not eulogize him correctly. And this week and this month and this year, Bnei Yisrael have a very big responsibility to mispeed the Gadol Hador properly. It is beyond us to do, but it is something that we have a tremendous requirement to do. And it is asur to mezalzel in the Hesped of a Gadol, let alone a Gadol Hador, let alone any Tamei Chacham, let alone Tsar HaTorah. I know in the shul they're trying Be'ezat Hashem every single day, starting from Sunday. They started every single day between Mincha and Arbit. They're going to have Hespedim in the shul. This cannot go like, okay, we lost the Gadol Hador. We'll watch the Levaya. We'll hear a Hesped and on with our life. Has v'shalom. This is supposed to shake us. Morav Rabotai, this is really supposed to shake us. Shamayim. If Mina Shamayim, Borei Olam, he took the Gadol Hador, this is a very scary time for Bnei Yisrael. So I'm going to want to share a thought with you, take it with a grain of salt. Anyone that knows our Jewish calendar, if you're able to learn how it works, it's unbelievable. It's a beautiful system. It's very systematic. Everything blends and meshes together beautifully. Everything has a reason and there's a rhyme to everything that happens. Why holidays fall on a certain time and why holidays do not fall on a certain time. Why the year is leap, why a month is leaped. Everything is so beautifully coordinated, how Hachamim set up our calendar. There's something very interesting about the Hebrew calendar. And that is that there are two holidays that every single year, they're going to fall on the same day. And these two holidays are Purim and Lag BaOmer. Purim and Lag BaOmer, as a rule in our calendar, they will always fall on the same exact day every single year. Last year, anyone remember when Purim was? Purim in Brooklyn was on a Friday. Anyone remember when Lag BaOmer was? Lag BaOmer was a Thursday night, Friday. And the siman to this says, the Shulchan Aruch, is the word plag. Plag ha-mincha. Plag is Rashi Tevot, Pe, Purim, Lamed Gimel, Lag BaOmer. Plag, Purim, Lag BaOmer, they always fall out every single year on the same day. This year, Purim was on a Thursday. You don't have to be a genius. Lag BaOmer is going to fall out on Thursday. And if you don't believe me, you can check the calendar. Plag is the rule. And the question is, what does Purim and Lag BaOmer have in common? It's a beautiful rule, but why do they have to fall on the same day? And the answer is, I don't know. But something that I know about these 2 days is very amazing. And that is that Lag BaOmer is a very symbolic day. Lag BaOmer is a day that beyond Rashbi has obviously significance before Rashbi passed away on that day. And it's a phenomenal day. And what that day represents is our preparation to Matan Torah. You see, there's 49 days from Pesach until Shavuot. Every third of these 49 days, we're working on one of the three things that the Torah stands on, that the world stands on. Al Shelosha Devarim Ha'olam Omed. Al Torah, Ve'al Ha'avodah, Ve'al Gemilut Chasadim. The world stands on three pillars. Torah, Avodah, Korbanot, Tefillah, and Gemilut Chasadim. Those are the three pillars that the world stands on. And every third of the 49-day period, we are working on one of the three pillars that the world stands on. So the first 16 and a third days, we're working on one of these pillars. On the second 16 and third of these days, we're working on the second pillar. On the last 16 and third of these days, we're beginning our final ascent to the Matan Torah, to accepting the Torah. And that last stretch of 16 and a third days begins on Lag BaOmer, and that is when we go full force on the Torah. Lag BaOmer is a time that we are celebrating the last ascent towards Matan Torah, getting ready for our holy Torah. Lag BaOmer is a time that we are celebrating the Torah in a way. Purim is a day that we are celebrating the Torah as well. Lag BaOmer, we are receiving the Torah shebichtav on Shavuot. And on Purim, we accepted the Torah shebe'al peh. Hadar kibluha be'ahava. They accepted the Torah shebe'al peh, divrei hachamim na'aseh v'nishma. Purim and Lag BaOmer, they share a lot in common. These are the days of the year that we are re-accepting the Torah, Torah shebichtav and Torah shebe'al peh upon ourselves. These are very symbolic days and very important days, needless to say, for Am Yisrael. How sad it is that last Lag BaOmer turned into a Tisha B'Av, and the previous Purim turned into a Tisha B'Av. Our days of happiness, the happiest days of the year, Lag BaOmer and Purim, of the happiest days, the Pelag, they have been taken away from us back to back. That's a very scary thing. Lag BaOmer, all of a sudden, forget the dancing, shut the music. Purim, what in the world is Purim? The Gadol Hador was taken away from us. And the question is, why have our happy days become days of evil recently? The happiest of times, it's not coincidental that exactly on Purim and Lag BaOmer, the tragedies happened. Min HaShamayim, Borei Olam could have waited another day. No, he didn't. Borei Olam wanted it to happen on Lag BaOmer and on Purim, when Bnei Yisrael are very festive, and our happy times were taken away. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe, because instead of celebrating these days the right way, realizing what Lag BaOmer is and what Purim is, appreciating our holy Torah, appreciating the Torah and realizing that without Torah we have nothing. It's not just a day to be happy and to jump around the bonfire. That's not what Lag BaOmer is. Purim's not a day to just be happy and let's just dance and have a party and dance in a circle and drink. Has v'shalom. That's not what Purim is. That's not what Lag BaOmer is. You think there's no meaning in our holidays? You think in the dancing there's no meaning? You think in our celebration it's supposed to be hefkerut and holelut and meaningless and reckless dancing? God forbid. It's supposed to be full of simchat HaTorah these days. And if they weren't full of simchat HaTorah, then maybe Borei Olam is taking them away because the partying is not done the right way. The mentality in these beautiful days is not there. Our celebration of the Torah is not being celebrated the right way. And we're being reminded when the Gadol Hador passes away what it's really all about. It's all about the Torah. And if we don't realize that it's all about the Torah, when we lose the Sar HaTorah, the Gadol Hador, that's supposed to hit home and remind us what we are here to do. The Gadol Hador, what they offer us amongst the infinite things, amongst the amazing things that they offer Klal Yisrael, is clarity, focus. Because as we come into this world, we could forget our mission. We could forget our tafkid. We could forget what we are here to do. When we have a Gadol that has that clarity all the time, I'm here to serve Borei Olam and nothing else matters to me. That is what Rav Chaim represented to us. The clarity that we're supposed to have in our Avodat Hashem. I'm here to learn Torah perform the beautiful mitzvot, get close to Borei Olam. That's what he did his entire life. That's all he cared about. And that's all that mattered to him. Cars didn't make a difference. Vacations didn't make a difference. Houses didn't make a difference. Nothing made a difference to the rabbi. He had the clarity. And then he could come into this world, and all of a sudden, we're running a rat race. It's about the next vacation, Thanksgiving, and after Thanksgiving, winter vacation, we're going Pesach, after Pesach, Shavuot, we're going for the summer, back to Labor Day weekend, and our whole year, we're running around vacations. We're running after cars. Chas Shalom, nobody here. But that's what someone might be able to do when they get lost in such a wild world. It becomes about the money. It becomes about the houses. You only have one house, you have another house. No, I'm working on that. And the pressure that people have over emptiness and nothingness and vanities. The olam hasheker that people could get fooled by. Vayilchu aharei hahevel vayehebalu. They're going after emptiness. And there's nothing there. It's a figment of your imagination. And the Gadol Hador is the one that has it clear in his mind. And the Gadol and the Gedolei Hador, they're the ones that show us the way. And they're the ones that are supposed to lead us the way. And we're supposed to follow them like sheep after the shepherd. Looking at them for the right focus, for the right mentality that we're supposed to be having in our life. And when we lose the Sar HaTorah, that could take away from our focus. And we can start forgetting what we are here to do. And our leader, and our or, and our light has been taken away. Hagaon Rabbi Yaakov Ad Shalita. He says, imagine you're in a movie theater. Chas v'shalom. Mashal. Imagine you're in a movie theater. Pitch black. Everyone is sitting. They're all looking at the screen. And you walk in. And you go to the back and you flick the switch. All of a sudden the light goes on. And everyone that's facing that way, all of a sudden, they turn around. Hey, who put on the lights? What are you doing? Shut the light, shut the light. What do you mean shut the light? The screen is there. You were looking till now. Keep on looking. We can't see anything. We cannot see the screen. The light is on. What does that mean? How in the world does that make sense? The light is on so you cannot see? In what world does that make sense? Only in the world of darkness. When you're in the dark world and there's no light, then you see the cops and the robbers and everyone is shooting and the banks and the cars and everything looks so real. Wow, what a screen, unbelievable. Look at the movie. It's so real. The second you put on the light, there's nothing there. There's an empty wall. The light is our Torah. Kiner misvah veTorah. Or a person could go through life and he could see everything. It looks so real, unbelievable. Wow. Look at the cars and the houses and the vacations. It's hadid. This is unbelievable. This is sick. This is life. This is real. C'est la vie. This is not nothing. This is emptiness. This is hevel. You want to see how fake it is? Just put on the light. Learn Torah. Bring Torah into your life and you'll realize how nothing else really makes a difference. You won't care about anything else. You realize how all that was emptiness. When the Gadol Hador has that clarity, which they do, Baruch Hashem, teaching it to us, that is something unbelievable that we're supposed to emulate and learn from. And when the Gadol Hador is taken away, what a loss it is to Bnei Yisrael. The direction, the clarity, our focus, our leader, our shepherd has been taken away. We are sheep wandering now. And we need the direction. And Baruch Hashem lo alman Yisrael, we have our Sadiqim. But very clearly a very big one was taken away. The rabbi cannot be replaced. The rabbi's greatness in Torah, how could that be replaced? Only Borei Olam can replace it. And what we have to realize is to emulate the rabbi's tremendous ahavat Torah. The rabbi's clarity that he had. Many people could think, I'm not the rabbi. Phenomenal stories. I'm not a Navi. I can't emulate the rabbi. That's not true. That's not what the rabbi would want you to think. You could for sure emulate the rabbi. And we all have to learn from the rabbi. how Torah is the ikar in our life. It's all about the Torah. And when you have Torah, all of a sudden, you start realizing you don't care about anything else. All the outside world is emptiness. I just want more Torah. Learning from the Rabbi to put more Torah into our life. You know, not many people know. But Rav Haim used to say about himself that he had a lot of debt. Yesh li harbe chovot. His son-in-law once saw him outside. He was learning Torah under a lamppost. He had the sefer, learning under a lamppost. His son-in-law passed. He said, Daddy, Abba, what are you doing outside? Why don't go inside? The family's sleeping. He doesn't want to open the light to disturb them and wake them up. So that's why he doesn't want to learn inside. So he's coming outside to learn Torah under a lamppost. And he says, I have a lot of chovot. Yesh li harbe chovot. I have a lot of debt. You have debt? The Gadol Hador has debt? In a second, anyone hears that the Gadol Hador has debt? Chas v'shalom. Rabbi, how many zeros on the check? The Rabbi didn't need our money. He's not talking about debt monetarily. Yesh li harbe chovot. I have a lot of debt in my Torah. The Rabbi, what he did, is what businessmen do. Lehavdil, elef afei havdalot. A businessman goes to work, and when he goes to work, he thinks, I have to make this and this amount of money today. And if I don't, I lost. I got to make a lot of money today. And I have to make this amount of sales. And I have to make this amount of profit. And I got to look at the end of the day at my bank account. And I got to see how much I have exactly over there. They pursue monetary world. They have a debt if they don't get what they want to pursue. The Rabbi, he geared that towards Torah. Every day he has a debt. He wants to learn 7.5 dapim of Shas, a certain amount of Zohar, a certain amount of Midrashim, a certain amount of Sifra, a certain amount of Sifri, a certain amount of Mishnayot, a certain amount of Shulchan Aruch, Tur Beit Yosef. And he has this debt that he put on himself every single day. And he doesn't want to go to sleep until he finishes his daily quota. That is his debt. That is the real world that the Rabbi is living in. That is the Olam HaEmet. That is the world that is full of Torah, that is full of or, that is full of light, that is connecting to Borei Olam. And instead of running after emptiness, how much am I missing in my bank account? We should be thinking, how much am I missing in my spiritual bank account in Shamayim? How much more Torah do I need? When is the last time I went to sleep thinking that I fulfill my daily quota of Torah? By the Gedolim? By the Rabbi? No such thing, just going to sleep on a pillow. Where's your Torah? Where's your Torah? And that's something that all of us are able to do. To put some type of hitchayvut, responsibility, obligation. I can't maybe do 7.5 daf yet. I can't do the whole Zohar every year. I can't do the whole Tur Beit Yosef every year. But you know what? I could add a chip on my shoulder. A nice, comfortable one, and say, you know what, I'm not going to sleep tonight before I finish one Mishnah. I'm not going to sleep tonight before I learn half my Amud of Gemara. I'm not going to sleep tonight before I make sure I learn a few halachot that I have to learn every single day. That could be our chovot. That could be our debt. But we have to feel that we are in debt. We have to feel like we are lacking. The Rabbi had that. And the Rabbi clearly was zocheh to be our light, our reminder, what our focus is, what our mission is. And when our shepherd is taken away, Anshe Emunah Avadu, Ba'im Bekoach Ma'asehem, Giborim La'amod Ba'peretz, Dochim et HaGezerot. Tzaddik, Morav Rabotai, it didn't really hit us yet. It really didn't hit us what is happening. I think we're a little confused. We're dazed. I think we're too much in America, thinking the Rabbi is still on Rehov Rashbam. How clarity was taken away, or could be taken away when the Gadol is taken away. And what we have to do is to keep our focus, Morav Rabotai. We have to make sure that we're going to have the right clarity in such a dark world where so many people are running after nothing. Learning from the Rabbi. Look what he's running after. His dad is in Torah. He wakes up and he goes to sleep thinking Torah, breathing Torah, loving Torah, realizing it's all about the Torah. That is the Gedolim. They're always thinking about the world, the real world, the Olam Ha'emet. You know, Rav Steinman, another Gadol that was taking not too long ago, also from Bnei Brak. He was once traveling on a plane one of the times, and he was going through the security. So as he was going through, it started beeping. So the officer said, Rabbi, please, if you could please step back. The Gabayim explained to the Rabbi to step back. He steps back. And they tell him, do you have anything metal on you? Rabbi, metal? What? Nothing. I don't have anything metal on me. He goes through again. Officer says, Rabbi, please go back. The Rabbi goes back. You have any metal on you? That's where they're stopping. He's the last person I would stop getting on a plane. Mahmoud and all these Reshayim, they go, don't worry about it. Things beep, 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 beeping away, no problem. The Gadol Ador, okay, go back. And then you would have bet, what does he have in his pocket? Unbelievable. Olam HaSheker. They say again, Rabbi, do you have anything in your pockets? He says, I don't have anything in my pockets. What's the problem? Why is it beeping? He says, you have something metal and it's detecting it. And the Rabbi says, oh. Rav Steinmetz says, a few years ago, he had an operation. They put some, maybe some metal piece in his knee or something. And because of that, that's why it's beeping. So they explained that to the officer. And the officer said, oh, okay, if that's the case, no problem. And he let the Rabbi go right through. And all of a sudden, the Rabbi gets to the other side and he starts crying. Crying like a little baby. He's crying and crying and crying. And the Gabayim, they felt so bad for the Rabbi. They said, Rabbi, Mehila, we didn't want to make you cry. Next time we're going to make sure this doesn't happen. We're not going to delay you again. Mehila, Rabbi, please forgive us. He says, I'm not crying about that. So what are you crying about, Rabbi? He says, if to get onto a plane, you got to go through a metal detector and the smallest piece of metal, it's going to detect and it's going to start beeping and you're not going to be allowed to go onto the plane until you get rid of that metal. Can you imagine in front of Olam Haba, the metal detector that's going to be there? Everyone thinks, Hineni, I did a few mitzvot. Habibi, there's a metal detector. The smallest detection of Averot. What do you think it's going to do? Beep, 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 beep. It's going to start beeping. Don't get discouraged, chas v'shalom. Doesn't mean that a person's not going to make it to Olam Haba. But the Rabbi took the musar. Rav Steinman took the musar and he said, if I have to make sure I have no metal on me before I go onto a plane, then how important it is for a person to make sure before their entrance into Olam Haba, they have no avirot. Staying focused in our life is what the Gedolim teach us to do. We live in Olam HaSheker. Have it very clear. If you're around people that are valuing you for where you're spending your vacation and your holidays, and what kind of car you drive, and the size of your house, that's not who Rav Haim is. He will not grade you for that. If you want to be his friend, you got a friend. He will love you for the fact that you are a Jew, and you have a neshama, and you are holy, and you have potential, and you can get close to Hashem. That is your true worth. Not what the bank says. Friends that value you for that, that's not what our Gedolim would do. They had the clarity. They knew the emet. They would live in a small 2-bedroom apartment with a rundown kitchen, and they wouldn't care about anything. Only Borei Olam, Torah, and Bnei Yisrael. Kucha birichu, Yisrael, ve'oraita. That is it. And that is the Olam Ha'emet that we have to get into. That is the Olam Ha'emet that we have to tap into and get closer to that side and farther away from the wrong side. By making more time for Torah, more time for mitzvot, more time to be next to the Hachamim, and less time away from the Sheker and the Hevel. And the more we have the Or, the Torah in our life, the more you're going to see the cops and robbers, they dissipate. Hevel. we say, V'harish'a kula ba'ashan tichle. Tefillah of Yamim Noraim. The Sefer Sifteh Haim. He says, what does it mean, V'harish'a kula ba'ashan tichle? Why is the rish'ut, the wickedness, compared to smoke? Rav Chaim Friedlander says, if you see smoke from far, if you see fog from far, it looks so real. When you go close to it and you go into it, you realize there's nothing there. The rish'ut is the same thing. The avirot is the same thing. From far, it looks, wow, this is real, this is exciting, this is geshmak, this is adir. And you get close to it and you realize this is nothing. This is efes. This is rek. Borei Olam put us in this beautiful world to get close to Him, to enjoy this world through the Torah, through the mitzvot, through the dveikut to Borei Olam. We lost the Rabbi, we lost our clarity. But we have to remember what the Rabbi represented. And we have to emulate the Rabbi. We have to learn from the Rabbi. And like the Rabbi said, you're going to hear a lot of beautiful stories. Don't think this is beyond me. We can do it. On our own level, everyone has a responsibility to now pitch in more and to fill in that void of Torah and say, I'm going to make more time for Torah. Maybe I can't do on his caliber, but I'm going to do my part because I could do my part and I have to do my part. Imagine there was a Hatzalah member over here and someone was fainting. He needed a cup of water, just a cup of water. So everyone starts screaming, hey, Hatzalah, Hatzalah. What Hatzalah, Habibi? Take a bottle of water that you see the guy needs water and give it to him. You don't need to be a Hatzalah to get him a cup of water. You don't need to be a Hatzalah to put a band-aid on the guy. Help the guy out. Sometimes in life we think, let's wait for the tzaddikim to do it. Let's wait for the gedolim to do it. Let's wait for them to save us. We can do it ourselves. We have to do it ourselves. We're also able to give someone a cup of water. We're also able to fill up the Torah. We're also able to do what we have to. If we're just sitting back and relaxing and thinking, it's not for me, this is not for me, these are beautiful stories that we can hear about the Rabbi, but it's not for me, this is not me. It's not true, this is us. He's not an exception to the generation in the Avodat Hashem. It's exceptional, of course, but this is what we all have to be emulating. This is our shepherd. And now we're a sheep without a ro'eh. V'lo alman Yisrael. Hashem takes care of Bnei Yisrael. But we have to make sure to do what we have to do. I'll leave you off with the words of the Ya'arot Tevash. And he says, Ki zohi tachlit ha'evel ve'abechi ve'asped. The whole purpose of the crying and the mourning and the eulogizing. Baharatat chet ve'kabalat teshuvah ve'esek ha'torah asher hisam chayim. The whole purpose of mourning and eulogizing is to do teshuvah and to mitchazek in Torah. Ve'az yafeh lanu ha'bechi ve'adem. And then what you're doing is beautiful. But if chas ve'shalom, aval im ein adam metaher atzmo mechet ve'fesha, they're going to hear words of eulogies, and they're not going to change. They're going to stay with their avirot, and they're not going to mitchazek. U'bochet, they'll cry. He says, if they're not changing, bichiyah zo bichiyah shel Esav harasha. This is the tears of Esav. V'noten koach l'samech aleph chas v'shalom. The purpose of hearing about the Rabbi and eulogizing the Rabbi is to learn from the Rabbi and to make a change. Clearly, I'm speaking to myself. To make a change in our life, in my life. To think, how can I better myself? To get more into the world of Torah, into the real world, and get out of the olam ha-sheker that people are living in. Making sure that that's not going to be the Yehudim. Macha Hashem demam al kol panim. Be'ezrat Hashem, the Rabbi should be a melitz yosher. For all Bnei Yisrael, will be zochet to the Geulah shelema b'mira b'amenu amen.